ALLI Olympics, 17
ALLI is the
tests.
newest mythic brawler coming to Brawl Stars, and she is the third and final member of the Swamp of Love trio, along with Willow and Angelo. Now, she is an assassin-type brawler who is very good at working with her hands, which is why she's also the mechanic of the swamp. ALLI is very shy, but rather than avoiding talking to people, she just stalks them instead, and then attacks them.
You left your scent. Delicious. One with the mouth, mate. G'day, you bacon beauties.
Stick around to the end of the video to see all of her voice lines and her pins. She's Australian. ALLI's main attack is Swamp Swipe. She dashes forward a short distance, dealing damage to anything she touches, very similar to like Mortis's main attack. But what's unique about this attack is that if ALLI is standing inside of a bush or on water, then
I will say that is a very interesting
jumping attack, very similar to Miko's main attack. I mean, what's more toxic than Mortis or Miko? Both of them together.
It kind of changes.
If only she had Edgar's super. Now, each of her different types of attacks deal the same amount of damage, but obviously ALLI can't be hit by anything while she's in the air, so it's a little bit more evasive. Honestly, I think she's going to take a little bit of getting used to, because there are a lot of places on maps where she can jump over a wall, but then she can't get back over that same wall because there are bushes only on one side of them, or water on only one side of them. You're just going to want to pay really close attention to where she's going to land with each attack so that you know which attack is going to come next. She's very
a good tip right there.
When ALLI activates her super, she gains pulsing stealth for 7 seconds, which is almost like being invisible, except every few seconds she becomes visible for a moment and then goes back to being invisible. It's kind of like an intermittent Leon super, but ALLI stays invisible. I will say that it is like that. She just doesn't stay invisible through her whole super. On top of this, after she activates her super, her next main attack that she uses will deal extra damage based on how much health the target has. So the extra damage will be 25% of the target's current health, unless obviously
I actually didn't know that.
I actually didn't know that. Then won't do extra damage. Just keep in mind that the extra damage is only added to the next attack after using the super, not the next attack that actually hits an enemy. So if you use the attack to like dodge or shoot something else, or like you miss or something like that, then that extra damage is going to be wasted. Okay, now ALLI has 2 traits. Obviously, the first helps her walk on water, and no, she can't avoid damage while she's hiding in the water. I guess it's not like walking on top of, it's more like swimming around inside of it, which looks really cool. Her second trait makes ALLI enraged whenever she is tracking an enemy with less than 50% health. Now, this boosts her movement speed, which makes it even harder to run away from her. And what's really cool about this is that whenever an enemy is below 50% health, you'll see a red icon next to her health bar, so that you know that you can then chase after those enemies and get that speed boost. But what's really interesting here is that it literally only works when you are tracking an enemy. So it only works when you are moving in the rough direction of that enemy. You can't use it to run away from an enemy faster. You have to run toward them for this speed boost to work. Additionally, you'll see footprints that light up along the ground, which will lead you toward the enemy who is below 50%
Oh, I
health.
forgot about
Yes,
that, actually.
It does still show up even if that enemy is hiding in a bush. But this trait only works as long as you are close enough to an enemy. It's not like you can be on one side of the map, and then if they get below 50% health, it won't give you that speed boost all the way across the entire map, right? It seems to work. I didn't like exactly measure this, but it's roughly around a 14 or 15 tile radius from around you, which honestly, that's a really big, large distance. Now, if ALLI's in rage and then they get outside of the range, or if that enemy starts to heal up above that 50% health, the red icon next to ALLI will slowly run out, and then she will lose the enrage when it runs out. Now, if the enemy dies, she will just immediately lose the enrage buff. This trait is what makes ALLI really unique, and I'm just gonna give you a warning. A lot of these tests don't take this trait into consideration at all. So she's better than a lot of these test placements are going to actually suggest, but they're still really good to understand how she works. ALLI's first gadget is Feed the Gators. Oh, that sounds like a mistake. This gadget makes it so that ALLI's next attack will heal ALLI for 100% of the damage that it deals to the enemy brawler. And this does apply to every brawler that is hit with the attack, so it's gonna be pretty easy to like stack up that extra health. It's got a 10-second cooldown, so she's gonna be able to use this.
Oh yeah, it's just like the gadget.
The second gadget, Cold Blooded, has a 14-second cooldown. When ALLI activates this gadget, she will become enraged for the next 6 seconds, even if there are no enemies below 50% health, which will give her a massive speed boost and reveal a path that will lead her to those enemies that she can see. Now, there are a couple caveats to this. You can actually activate this anytime, even though it says it can only be activated when enemies are visible, but the effect will only trigger once those enemies do become visible or like get within range of her. So it's kind of interesting. ALLI's first star power is lizard limbs. That kind of looks weird. Why does that look so weird? This makes it so that when ALLI is enraged, she will start regenerating her health faster when she is out of combat, or doesn't take damage, doesn't attack. So normal regeneration happens 3 seconds out of combat. With this star power equipped, she starts healing 1.5 seconds out of combat. For reference, Tick's well-oiled star power is very similar to this, but it starts his regeneration 1 second out of combat, so this isn't quite as good as Tick's star power, but it's still very good. ALLI's second star power is you better run, you better take cover, and that's a great name for it. This star power makes ALLI reload 40% faster whenever she is enraged. Now, honestly, I think that this star power is going to be the one that I'm going to be using most of the time. 40% faster reload speed is actually really great, especially for close range brawlers who thrive when enemies close to them are dead, or close to dead. Below 50% dead, right? Okay, now we understand how ALLI works. We're gonna compare her to every other brawler in the game with the Olympic tests. We'll start with her worst test, work our way up to her best test, and just remember that a lot of these tests, they don't take her trait into consideration, which is what makes her really strong. First up, we have the area test. ALLI's main attack wasn't able to dash through the skulls, but it still broke the floor next to her. Her super doesn't deal any damage, and neither do her gadgets, so ALLI breaks a total of 4 skulls. That puts her in 93rd place. Dead last for the area test. Next is the super range test. ALLI's super not only deals 0 damage, but it isn't even a projectile that she can throw, so her super reaches 0 tiles. That ties her with Leon, Rosa, and RT for 90th place. Next is the auto aim test. ALLI's main attack doesn't quite reach Nita from 2 tiles away, so she doesn't dash straight at Nita unless it's from a shorter range. ALLI deals 2,600 damage from only 1 tile away and gets 88th place. Next is the attack range test. ALLI's dash can only reach 3 tiles across, but if her attack changes to a jump or a leap, it actually has more range. The jump can reach 4 1/3 tiles away.
Interesting.
For 82nd place. Next is the super damage test. Again, ALLI's super is all about utility, does not deal any damage at all, so she ties with 21 other brawlers for 72nd place. Lots of brawlers have supers that don't deal damage. Okay, next we have actual damage stuff. Okay, it's the boss test. ALLI's not able to become enraged in the training cave, unfortunately, even if she uses her second gadget, okay? So none of her gadgets or star powers are able to help her in this test. Her super does double the damage of each attack that follows it, so it helps a little bit throughout, but it's mostly just up to her reload speed and her attack to deal damage. ALLI defeats the boss in 56.1 seconds, so she ties with Miko for 69th place. Next is the swarm test. ALLI is able to take out 4 bots with a single dash, so it takes 6 ammo in total to take out all of the bots. She defeats the swarm in 6.2 seconds. This actually ties her with Edgar and Ollie for 56th
Ties her
place.
and
Next we have the
Edgar.
reload test. Unfortunately, ALLI does have a star power that can increase her reload speed, but it only works if she is enraged, so it does not help her at all in the training cave. Even though she can reload much faster than this, she reloads 10 shots at normal speed, which takes 19.2 seconds, and she gets 51st place. Next is the assassin test. This is a 3-second damage test. She's able to use her super only once to double the damage of her first attack. Then she's able to reload 1 ammo and get a 4th dash in before the 3 seconds are up. She deals 13,000 total damage and gets 49th place. Up until now, she has been worse than half the brawlers in the game, but in the rest of these tests, she is better than half the brawlers in the game. Starting off with the supercharged test.
Ooh!
ALLI
I didn't actually realize how fast
4
she
shots to land.
I don't know if they changed that with
and even
the
though her super
nerfs,
makes her
but I didn't
attack
know that
deal
she
more
reloaded
damage,
that fast.
it actually doesn't charge her super any more than usual. Again, she would charge it even faster with her reload star power if she was able to get enraged. But yeah, she charges her super in 2.2 seconds and ties with Eve and Carl for 46th place.
Nice.
Next, we have the 1-second damage test. ALLI's super doubles the damage of her first attack,
Oh,
and then
wow,
she's able to land
10,000.
all 3 of her first ammo within the same second. That deals 10,400 damage. That is plenty to take out a lot of the brawlers in the game and gets her 28th place. Next, we have the survival test. This is the only test where ALLI actually does get a little help from a gadget, but only once, because she would have to kill this new sniper bot, which is not allowed in this test, you know, if she wanted to use more than one gadget. She has 8,200 health, which is just as much as RT has, and her super increases the damage of her attack, which also increases the amount that she heals from her gadget. She survives for 32.1 seconds and ties with all 27th place. Next, we have the 3 attack kill test. Like we saw in the 1 second damage test, ALLI deals 10,400 damage with 3 attacks, as long as she uses her super to get the damage boost from the first attack. That is enough damage to take out 85 of the 93 brawlers in the game and ties ALLI with B for 27th place. Next, we have the box test. ALLI doesn't get the extra damage from her super in this test, but she's able to hit all the boxes in the group with each of her attacks. She completes the box test in 31 seconds and ties with Amber for 23rd place. Next, we have the race test. ALLI doesn't have any water or grass to run through in this test, but the dashes still offer plenty of speed. She also already has a fast movement speed, and it could be even faster if she was able to get enraged. She finishes this test in 8.3 seconds, so she ties with Nani and Bonnie for 14th place. Next, we have the splash
tied
test.
with Bonnie.
ALLI's able to hit 3 of 4 rows of boxes with 1 dash. So with the help of her super, she's able to take out 12 boxes with the first 3 ammo. After collecting power cubes, it just takes
it's just like there's one test which is like the splash test,
she completes
and
this
she
test
actually
in
did really good.
Seconds,
She only took
with Melody
4.
for 11th place.
She got
her
11th
best test
place.
is the trait test. Unless I'm
Not
forgetting a
surprised
brawler,
that it's a trait test.
ALLI's the only brawler in the game with 2 traits, so she gets first. And even if there was another brawler that could do that, I'm really confident there's not a brawler with 3 traits, so she would tie with them for first either way. But I guess you could say she's in ALLI.
Oh my god, that was a bad joke, Kairos. That was a bad joke.
Suggested that joke. Make fun of him. Obviously, ALLI's traits don't really help her out too much in the Olympics. So let's talk about how strong I think she's actually going to be in each of the game modes when considering her full kit. Starting off with Gem Grab. We're gonna go with the A tier here. ALLI is a really dangerous assassin to leave alone in Gem Grab. She has the movement speed to be able to
A
get
tier. I'm not
places
surprised
fast,
that she's A tier in Gem Grab.
especially if it's onto an enemy who is missing half their
I
health.
would have. She's S tier in a
Gem
lot of
Grab,
modes,
especially while people are trying to go grab the gems, right? They're kind of easy targets there. There's also usually a lot of bushes and sometimes also some water, which will give her a little bit more mobility, especially with the ability to jump over walls. And with her super turning her invisible, even if it is pulsing, she's going to be really scary to deal with, especially because attacking doesn't remove the invisibility. I wouldn't say that she's S tier, but she's definitely going to be a threat in Gem Grab. So what about Hot Zone? Hot Zone is obviously about controlling a specific location on the map, and most Hot Zone maps only have one area to control, which means that there's going to be a lot of enemies all bunched up kind of close to each other. That is bad news for a close-range assassin, since it makes getting kills and escaping pretty tricky to do.
As he was talking about, it does make sense, you know. I mean, like, I feel like there would be better options. Like, I feel like even fire, right? Would be better
so not the best, but still, there are quite a few maps with more than one zone, and I could see her being really good in those situations because she's just a scary brawler to deal with in a 1v1 situation, because she's nearly impossible to run away from. Overall, though, I think that she's strong enough for B tier in Hot Zone, even on single zone maps. What about Brawl Ball? Brawlers with high mobility are always worth considering in Brawl Ball. The fact that it only takes just one brawler below half health trying to defend in order for her to get a massive speed boost toward the goal is actually really super scary. She's going to be such a good ball carrier because of the enraged trait just by itself. And then you have her dashing attack, right? She may even be S tier, but I think that A tier makes the most sense. Obviously,
sorry that I've been covering
below 50% health in the first
face.
place in order for that trait to activate, and most brawlers will outrange her. What about Bounty? Some assassins are really good in Bounty, and well, this is very much going to depend on the map. There will be some maps where I think that ALLI could be really, really well, but against skilled players, assassins can struggle in wide open maps because skilled players usually stay within range of another teammate so that they can 2v1 any brawlers who get too close, right? With that said, ALLI is overall just good enough that I think she could be considered on some of the bounty maps. Knockout's kind of similar, but I think she's gonna be a little bit better, especially because in Knockout,
I will say I was just playing with her
in 2 teammates to get one enemy brawler below 50% health for her to become a monster, like a speed demon, right? She's going to be able to track enemies inside bushes and rush towards them. And her invisibility super is a very scary like ability to deal with in a game mode like Knockout, where just one kill is all it takes to turn the tide in ALLI's favor. In Heist though, I mean, she's gonna suck in Heist so bad. We're gonna go with the D tier.
D tier for Heist.
To travel
yeah, not surprised by
maps,
that.
like really quickly in some situations.
I mean, like, there's definitely better options like
easily be F'd her in the game mode. She has to be too close to the safe in order to deal damage, and her reload speed is too slow to make a big impact on the mode. Let's talk about Brawl Arena, which I'm fairly certain now is permanent because we got balance changes for it. In Brawl Arena, I'm gonna put her in the A tier. I actually think that ALLI could be a very scary brawler in the game mode if she is left alone in the middle where there's lots of bushes on the map, right? All she has to do is wait for a teammate or an enemy to get below 50% health, and then it'll be super easy for her to like finish them off, get the job done, right? She has a lot of mobility, and in Brawl Arena, getting even just 1 or 2 quick kills early on is really all it takes for you to steamroll the rest of the match, and I think that she's going to be perfect for that. Honestly, if she was a little bit better at handling the bots and the towers without teammates, I think she would be a very good S tier brawler for the game mode, but that is a really big weakness for her. I think her best game mode is going to be Solo Showdown though, and I'm going to go with the
Solo
S tier.
Showdown
she can take out boxes pretty
considered
quickly.
her best mode.
One enemy to get below 50% health for her to find them, rush to them, and take them out. That happens all the time in Solo Showdown, right? She can just hide in the bush until she gets enraged and just goes and chases people down, right? Mobility is also really good in Showdown because it allows you to escape a lot of scary situations. Yeah, she'll be using her attacks to do that, but like that's still really helpful. And I think that being able to swim on water will also give her a solid advantage here as well. Ramping up like in damage with picking up power cubes and stuff like that, it's gonna make ALLI so strong. For duo and trio showdown, I think it's gonna be a little bit of a different story though. You'll still be able to play her. Like I'm gonna put her in the B tier, but it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for you to assassinate enemy teams because they're likely going to be a 2v1 situation or a 3v1 situation, unless you have a teammate who is also an assassin and can jump onto people and stuff like that. She's still gonna be good, just not the best in duo or trio showdown. And that is ALLI, okay? We're gonna show you all of her voice lines and pins. Use code Karis in Brawl Stars shop.
Pesky bin chicken. Ow! I stacked it. I stacked it. Ow! Struth! That stings. Oh, Struth! That stings.
Well, I don't really care about the voice lines or the pins or anything like that, but that is ALLI. Dang, she's a lot. I mean, like, I already knew that she was good, but I'm actually quite surprised that she wasn't S tier in more modes. I'm actually surprised by that.